who found him, how he was found, or the 911 call or anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah?
And I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here to get to the bottom of it, though, it sounds like.
We pretty much know what's going on, but, you know, all we want to do is just talk about the man, the musician.
Sheila E. was the last person Prince ever truly confided in. And now, the streets are buzzing with claims that she's finally spilling what Prince tried to warn the world about, and why Diddy allegedly didn't want him around to do it. Let's break it down. Some fans are convinced that Prince was getting ready to drop more than just the truth about music ownership. He was about to expose a twisted web of manipulation, exploitation, and maybe even dark rituals lurking in the shadows of the entertainment industry. And guess what name keeps popping up in the same breath? Diddy. That's right. His name keeps slipping into those same shady conversations. Coincidence? Now, after years of keeping quiet, Sheila E. is allegedly coming forward with a heavy truth. And it's got people shook. According to multiple sources, she claims Prince was trying to protect the world from something way deeper. Something we weren't even ready to face. Let's rewind a bit. Sheila E. met Prince back in 1977 at a show where she was performing with her dad. Fast forward to 1984. She signed with Warner Brothers and teamed up with Prince to work on her debut solo album, The Glamorous Life. Prince co-wrote it and even played on the title track, turning it into a hit. That same year, Sheila E. was the opening act for Prince's Purple Rain tour, a legendary moment in music history. But it didn't stop there. After the tour, she signed with his own label, Paisley Park Records. And get this, she didn't just perform. She was the musical director for Prince's Sign of the Times and Love Sexy tours. She was deep in his creative circle, y'all. Throughout the 1980s, Sheila E. stayed by Prince's side, contributing to multiple albums and tracks. So if anybody knew what Prince was really battling behind closed doors, it would be her. And now? The silence might finally be breaking, with explosive truths waiting to drop. Sheila E. didn't just work with Prince, she was part of his world. She even showed up in his Sign of the Times concert film, rocked the stage with him at the Brit Awards, and joined him on tour again in 2007. But what most people don't realize is that their connection ran way deeper than music. Here's where things get wild. Beyond the beats and the spotlight, Sheila E. and Prince shared something personal, something fans still whisper about like a secret too hot to say out loud. During one unforgettable live performance, Prince locked eyes with Sheila from across the stage and without skipping a beat, mouthed two powerful words: "Marry me." No script, no cue, just raw emotion in front of a stunned crowd. And yes, it wasn't just for show.
What message do you have to Prince fans?
Just keep saying prayers for everyone, for the family.
There was no sign of this. This is just...
You know, everyone gets sick once in a while. We don't know. We're going to find out.
Word is, they even got briefly engaged after that moment. But the wedding, it never happened. Now here's the twist. Some say Sheila E. and Prince hadn't spoken for 5 years before he passed in 2016. That rumor comes from the fallout after she dropped her autobiography, The Beat of My Own Drum, where she opened up about their relationship. But what if that's not the whole story? Sources close to the situation are claiming something totally different. They say Sheila E. and Prince actually reconnected before his death. And during those final moments, he allegedly confided in her about some serious dirt, including shocking stuff about Diddy. Let's not forget, Prince never held back when it came to calling out shady moves in the industry. He warned people about powerful figures pulling strings, controlling artists, and straight up silencing voices. He always fought for creative freedom and fair pay. So now fans are asking, was Diddy part of that system Prince was trying to expose? Allegedly, yes. And if Sheila E. really knows what Prince revealed, then what she's holding could blow the lid off everything. Here's what many people forget. Prince got signed to Warner Music way back in 1977 when he was just 18. Even though his early albums from 78 to 81 didn't blow up commercially, Warner kept him around. Why? Because they saw the genius. He was a real musician with raw talent, and that made Warner look like a label that actually supported long-term artistry. Then in 1982, just a year after MTV launched, Prince dropped more heat and finally cracked the US top 10. He wasn't just making music, he was building a legacy. Prince understood early on how music videos could be a power move, not just to promote his songs, but to shape an entire mythology around his image. But after making a name for himself and becoming a full-blown icon, Prince launched his own label, Paisley Park Records. It was backed by Warner and distributed through them. Sounds like freedom, right? Not exactly. Behind the scenes, Prince had already started calling out Warner for shady treatment, saying they were underpaying him and taking advantage of his success. And here's where things get real messy. That same Warner Brothers also backed Diddy. Yep, Diddy had a sweet deal with them. Warner owned 50% of his Bad Boy Records. They weren't just distributing the music, they were profiting big time. Warner handled everything, from physical to digital releases, pushing artists like Machi, Mario Winans, the Notorious B.I.G., and of course, Diddy himself. When the deal was made, Diddy even bragged about it. He said, "There have been a lot of boutique record labels that come and go, and we are still here. This has ensured for the next couple of years that we have the right financial backing, the right financial structure, the right partners to remain a force in the music industry." But now fans are putting two and two together. Was Prince trying to expose the very same system that Diddy was thriving in? A system that profited off artists while holding the power in secret boardrooms? If that's what Prince was speaking on, it's no wonder people think he became a threat to the industry machine. And here's the kicker. Warner wasn't the only one pulling shady moves on artists. The same way they treated Prince, that's exactly how Diddy was treating folks over at Bad Boy Records. Just look at what happened to Lil Jerome. When people asked if he chose to leave the label, he kept it real. He said it was a mix of pressure and burnout. "I had a nervous breakdown," he admitted, and added that it was in Puffy's best interest to not keep the project. Translation, he didn't leave. He got pushed out. Jerome even said he had 13 tracks ready to go for an album before things fell apart. And how did Diddy react? No support, no pause. They just shelved him and moved on like he didn't matter. And he wasn't the only one. Carl Thomas had his own story. When his brother died, Diddy didn't even give him space to breathe. Just a week after the tragedy, Diddy hit him up asking when he was coming back to the studio, talking about hits like nothing even happened. Not a moment to grieve, not an ounce of empathy. Just back to business.
Party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security.
And then, Biggie. Now this one's heavy. According to Diddy's ex-bodyguard, Gene Deal, Biggie was getting ready to leave Bad Boy Records. He wanted a new deal, something better. But right after his death, Diddy didn't slow down for even a second. Word is, he was on a mission to push Life After Death like a machine, pressuring employees to make the album hit number one. Number one, number one, number one. Top 10, top 10, top 10. That's all he cared about. Not the loss, not the mourning, just the money and the charts. Now here's where it gets real sketchy. Right before those lawsuits started raining down on him, Diddy made a move that had everyone side-eyeing. He suddenly started giving publishing rights back to former Bad Boy artists. Out of nowhere. Why now? Why after all these years? People are saying it wasn't generosity. It was strategy, trying to clean things up before the storm hit. But fans aren't forgetting the patterns, the control, the silence, the pain behind the music. And when you line it up next to what Prince fought against, it all starts looking way too familiar. And now, here's where it gets real disturbing. Some insiders claim that Prince didn't just suspect shady business, he witnessed it firsthand. Behind those velvet curtains and glamorous award shows, there were whispers of secret meetings, loyalty tests, and people getting blackballed if they didn't play along. And guess who kept showing up in those same circles? Diddy. According to people close to the situation, Prince allegedly warned Sheila E. that certain powerful figures in the industry weren't just exploiting artists financially, they were using their power to control, intimidate, and in some cases, destroy reputations. Prince believed there was a hidden agenda behind the glitz, a culture where silence was bought, voices were suppressed, and careers were taken hostage if you stepped out of line. Sources say Prince didn't trust the system, not the labels, not the media, nobody. He felt like too many artists were trapped in contracts they didn't understand, giving up everything for fame while executives cashed in. And the ones who did understand, they got pushed out, or worse, disappeared from the spotlight altogether. It's been said that Prince even wanted to host a press conference near the end of his life, to go on record and name those who were exploiting the industry from the inside.
1999, my publishing contract with Warner Chappell expired, thus emancipating the name I was given before birth, Prince, from all long-term restrictive.
But that moment never came. He died before anything could be set in motion. And now, fans are wondering, was it just bad timing, or was something more going on? Meanwhile, Sheila E.'s alleged comments are growing more direct. While she's still careful with her words, she's reportedly been hinting that Prince's passing wasn't just a tragic loss, it was a silencing. She said he knew too much and carried truths that the world wasn't ready to handle. And if that's the case, the timing of Diddy's recent downfall is starting to feel way too convenient. From lawsuits to accusations piling up, the empire Diddy once built is starting to crack. And some say this is exactly the storm Prince predicted. As more people speak out, connect dots, and dig deeper into the past, one question keeps rising louder than ever. What did Prince really know? And who was he trying to protect us from? Here's where things take an even darker turn, because according to folks close to Prince, he didn't just fear for his career, he feared for his life. That's right. People say Prince was deeply paranoid in his final years. Not the wild conspiracy type of paranoia. This was a man who knew he was being watched. He started speaking in codes, avoiding phones, and only trusting a tight circle. And guess who was still part of that circle? Sheila E. It's said that Prince told Sheila the industry had become dangerous, like really dangerous. He believed some of the biggest players weren't just gatekeepers. They were handlers, manipulating lives, pushing narratives, and making sure no one could rise too high without playing by their rules. And if someone like Prince refused to bow down, that made him a threat. There's even talk that Prince was being followed in the months leading up to his death. People close to him say he made cryptic comments like, "They're watching me," and "I'm not safe anymore." It sounded dramatic at first, but now, with everything unfolding around Diddy and the music elite, those words hit different. And don't forget, Prince was outspoken about controlling his own music. He wrote "slave" on his face during performances, broke free from his label, and told young artists to never sign away their masters. He was schooling the next generation. He was dangerous to the system, not with violence, but with knowledge. That's power. So now, as more people start peeling back the layers of this industry, Prince's warnings feel like prophecies. He wasn't just talking about unfair contracts or shady deals. He was exposing an entire network built on silence and control. And Sheila?
The landing last week was a treatment for some sort of drug overdose, whether prescription or illicit. Did you ever have any signs of drug use? Did you ever see any signs of drug use with him lately that would end up in something like this?
No.
Word is, she's holding back some final truths. Maybe out of fear, maybe out of respect. But with the world finally catching on to what Prince really stood for, it might not be long before she lets it all out. Because let's be honest, this doesn't just look like a music industry scandal anymore. It's looking like a full-blown cover-up. And Prince may have been the one man trying to pull back the curtain before it was too late. It gets even more chilling when you realize Prince knew. Just days before he passed, he shared a haunting photo of himself online, one that fans now believe had a hidden, deleted message. The words, "Just when you thought you were safe." That wasn't random, that was a warning. At his final public appearance, a party at Paisley Park, right after his reported hospital treatment, Prince told the crowd something that still sends shivers. Wait a few days before you waste any prayers. He knew something was coming, and just like that, he was gone. Prince was found unresponsive at his Minnesota estate. He was 57. Officials later claimed it was an accidental fentanyl overdose from counterfeit Vicodin. But here's the thing, even Sheila E. herself said that explanation never sat right. Not with her, not with those who really knew Prince. It just didn't make sense, she said. So now we have to ask the hard questions. Was Prince's death really just a heartbreaking accident? Or was it the final move in a long game he had been trying to expose? Could Sheila E. be gearing up to finally spill what Prince told her behind closed doors? And where exactly does Diddy fit into this tangled web? You gotta wonder, how many dots are we still not connecting? Or worse, how many were never supposed to be connected in the first place? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Prince saw it all coming? Is Sheila E. finally ready to speak? And is the truth about Diddy and the industry darker than we imagined? If you made it this far, smash that like button, subscribe for more real talk that goes deeper than the headlines, and don't forget to share this with someone who needs to see what's really going on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.